mixed reactions that have trailed the resumption of operations at the Port Harcourt refinery. It's been a bit controversial. Experts have been saying a lot of things, really, as to what is going on with the Port Harcourt refinery. So mixed reactions trail resumption of Port Harcourt refinery. What exactly is the true position of things? We'll try and sort all of that out this evening on Political Roundtable Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll be having Adeola Yusuf join us via the phone line just for 10 minutes, really. He's one person that I've seen all the refineries. He's visited it, he's written about it. So it's just proper that as an energy expert when it comes to reporting that particular sector. Of return of operations at that particular facility that happened on Tuesday. So we quickly deal with that and then move to two other very, very important issues when it comes to nation building. Foreign policy, presidency, opposition differ on frequent overseas trips as Tinubu lauds Macron's interest in Africa. What are the gains and losses? What are the people that think we have a globe-trotting president saying about the frequent trips of the president, and what is the presidency saying about all of these trips? And then beyond all of that, we also look at the implications of the renewed romance or the sudden romance of Nigeria with France. It's been an elaborate 3-day state visit of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his team to France on the invitation of the French President Emmanuel Macron. We've seen very beautiful videos. The optics look very, very good. But beyond all of the optics, the beautiful pictures, the dancing, what exactly do we make of this sudden romance, sudden relationship of Nigeria with France? What are the regional implications, security implications, business implications? What do we stand to gain or lose from this particular relationship? Is going to be a major talking point when we deal quickly with what is happening with the Port Harcourt refinery. And then finally, we're going to be talking about nation building again, looking at what Afenifere, Ohaneze, and the Arewa Consultative Forum is proposing. They are talking about regionalism, the parliamentary system of government, and they also want us to rename Nigeria. They think it's time for us to rename. The look of Isaac on his face. They actually want us to rename the country. They think it's just very important for us going forward to change the name of the country. I already have a proposal, a proposed name, but I'm going to look at that too and see whether these are all good proposals and can actually get us to the promised land if we can take these suggestions by the major socio-cultural groups in Nigeria. It's a joint call from Afenifere, Ohaneze, and the Arewa Consultative Forum. So, three interesting conversations, believe me, that we're going to be having on the show this evening. We are streaming the show live on Facebook. We are also on YouTube. And you can also listen to us via the Radio Garden platform, Mainland 98.3 FM. Barrister Tᴏɪᴛᴛ Adigba is in the studio with us this evening. Barrister, nice to have you in the studio this evening.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Nuruddin is also with us in the studio. I'm sure he's going to help us sort out all these parliamentarianism, regionalism, and all of that. Nice to have you in the studio.
Good evening. And good.
Look at what is happening with Port Harcourt refinery. There's been a lot of talk. Olufemi Shunaya, the spokesperson of the NNPCL, has been making recent statements on the allegations that what will happen on Tuesday was just for the optics. It was a show of the seat. He had said that leader of that community, the lesser community who made those allegations, was speaking from crass ignorance. That's the word he had used. But let's get Adeola Yusuf's perspective on the issue. He's seen it all. He's visited the refinery. He's a major correspondent when it comes to the energy sector, so it's just very important that we bring him in. We're trying to get Adeola Yusuf. Barrister Tᴏɪᴛᴛ Adigba, you've also been following that development. On Tuesday, it was an elaborate one. And I think a lot of Nigerians also felt some form of hope and optimism about the prospects of us having our refineries back up and running. Yes, and it was just very important that NNPCL, that had failed severally to fulfill its promises to Nigeria to get our refineries working again, did a lot of show from it. The media was there. There was a lot of talk. Malik Kyari himself was on ground. A day after, just that evening, Sahara reporters published that, look, what is happening there is not anything called refining. It's just basically a blend of petroleum products to achieve PMS, naphtha, C5. And before the next morning, the NNPCL also issued a statement saying that, look, yes, the blending thing is not anything new in the petroleum industry, that refineries also have capacity to blend depending on the operational capacity of the refinery at that particular time. On Saturday, the Punch newspaper made a publication and its own investigative report has shown that as we speak, operations have been altered and everything is on standstill once again at that particular refinery. Mr. Curtis, what do you make of all of this development?
Okay, so I didn't get to hear anything about this refinery thing until I got a beep on my phone.
Yes.
Which was from Bayo Onanuga, with the president congratulating the management of NNPCL on the grand feat of restoring the operations of the Port Harcourt refinery. And immediately I typed a message on Facebook to try to congratulate the president. But somehow something held me back. And I found myself, I tried to hit the post button again. I still couldn't do it. So I said, okay, give it some time and see. It's possible that something is not right
somewhere
here. Or because you are just too busy, you're getting distracted. And then boom, that evening I saw the story from Sahara reporters saying this was an attempt to deceive Nigerians again and that nothing really has happened. And again, I also didn't even believe the Sahara reporters report, because I felt that maybe as a guerrilla, a kind of guerrilla welfare press, or
yes. You don't take it to bank, really, whatever.
Yes, they try to look for fault here and there every time, and then deny the government credit even when they have
done something good.
Done something good. So I took an approach to wait and hear more until the NNPC came out themselves and confirmed that story. From that moment, I knew something was wrong. Because don't forget that after certain deadlines, so many deadlines that they couldn't meet, they just went mute. They went mute for some months. And then bang.
Tuesday.
We have
the announcement came,
and then 48 hours later, all the activities came to a grind in the place. Look, this is a terrible situation for the government. It would have been better if the services or the operations were not restored at all, or that they did not try to mislead Nigerians about the true state of things. And I think that a government that knows what it is doing, a government that is bordered by its own image, a government that the leaders actually have some measure of integrity openly, by now, heads in NNPC should be rolling. But you know what? Nothing will happen to anybody. Why? Because this is a government of anything goes. And when you are battered so much, your image has been battered so much, all right? People who trusted and voted for you have become hugely disappointed in you. You'll be looking for just anything to score victory. And I think they probably misled the president into believing
that something has actually happened at that refinery.
And of course, you don't expect the president to go there physically and inspect things himself before celebrating it. And this is why heads must roll.
If indeed there's an element of deceit in what happened on Tuesday.
And if it is true that the president was actually not aware of this package that staged performance, to hoodwink Nigerians into believing that the government is achieving something or the government has done something great. If the president is not involved in this smoke screen, the president does not understand what happened and is not aware in the true sense of it, by now, heads should start rolling in that organization, whether it's in the country or it's not in the country.
All right, Mr. Curtis, we're still trying to get across to Adeola Yusuf. I think yesterday I had like a 1 hour discussion with him. And what he has said is that, look, the update now, I will see press releases, because again, when the Punch reported that, look, they sent their reporters there and the whole place is into, it's silent, nothing is happening again. It was said that, look, operations were altered for recalibration of the facility for operations and all of that. One of the concerns that
why was that not done before?
And I told Adeola Yusuf that, look, there's been a lot of problem with the trust deficit, and you can't blame Nigerians for not trusting anything again until they are very, very sure that that thing has actually happened. We've lived in this country for years where we've seen consistent deceit and lies from the government. So when things like this happen, you shouldn't blame Nigerians who keep doubting it, who raise questions, because we were also alive in this country when somebody brought in a plane, only for us to know it was just an hired plane. They had painted it. There was a water salute for a plane that was hired. So, and then the numerous failed timelines should ordinarily make people want to check and check and check again. Why did they go to town on Tuesday when there were still some few things to do, really, to get the refinery working?
I think this is the problem.
Yes.
You see, even the Dangote refineries had shifted deadlines.
Severally.
Would they say, oh, we're starting July 1st or July 4th or thereabout? It didn't happen. And then they told us it was going to be August. It also didn't happen. But at some point, at least, they rolled out successfully. And from the moment they rolled out, all their system, picked up and continuously
and they've been consistent.
In the production and supply. And this is the problem. You have a situation. Okay, you've gotten him.
All right, so let's quickly take Adeola Yusuf's submission. How are you doing, Adeola Yusuf?
I'm great, Fuad. Good evening, Nigerian.
Yeah, good evening. So we have Nuruddin Adegbero in the studio. I also have Barrister Curtis Adigba with me in the studio this evening.
Okay,
we're going to do this for 10 minutes quickly, Adeola Yusuf. Again, yesterday I had a very lengthy discussion with you on what is actually happening at the Port Harcourt refinery. Let me ask you this question. When last did you visit that refinery?
Okay, I was at the refinery last year.
Last year, okay.
Yeah, and there is a plan for me to be there tomorrow, even though it's supposed to be an unscheduled
visit. You told me you'll be taking the first flight tomorrow to that facility. So we'll still have to bring you back. At least since you'll be visiting the refinery tomorrow, you should be able to give us on-the-spot assessment of what exactly is happening there. But mixed reactions have trailed the announcement of the NNPCL on the renewed operations of that particular facility. People have said that, look, why is it that suddenly all operations have also got into it as it's now a standstill with operations at that facility? Yesterday the Punch newspaper reported that, look, it's all been put to a halt and the entire place is empty again. And that has led a lot of people to speculate and begin to ask questions as to what exactly is happening in that facility. You can't open a place up of operations in Tuesday and then by Friday, Saturday, the whole place is deserted and empty again. What's happening, Adeola Yusuf?
Okay, quick, clarification on the statement I've just made. The Punch report didn't say the whole place is deserted.
All right.
What the Punch report said is that the loading bay, which is loading gantry, is deserted. Mind you, for over 22 years that the refinery has not been working, it has never been deserted. In fact, when I was there last year, the car park of Port Harcourt refinery is a beef of activities. You see porch cars parked there, workers going there every day to log in and log out, drink tea, enjoy life, collect fast salary. At the end of the day, the refinery has not been producing a barrel of crude oil. So, having said that, I think the last professional that has just spoken about that Port Harcourt refinery is the chairman, is the national president of the Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers. He spoke on Arise TV few hours ago now, and he confirmed that Port Harcourt refinery is back to life. So that is the last professional to have spoken about that. We've had reports, of other people, the Pan Niger Delta Forum, the NUPENG, then the president. Everyone have, spoken about the resuscitation or revamp of that refinery. And just like we discussed yesterday, some Nigerians, are doubtful of whether that facility is back to life truly or not. And you may find it somewhat difficult to fault any Nigerian because of the fact that, we've suffered a lot of trust deficit. But, of course, back and forth, there has been a lot of missed targets, a lot of missed deadlines as to, revitalization of that facility. Millions of dollars have been sunk into that facility. So if Nigerians are not sure of what will happen, it may be very, very difficult for anyone to blame Nigerians. Or some Nigerians are still very doubt of, that process. What I've been saying is that if the government wants all Nigerians to believe this, let the effect happen at the pump or the fueling station around the country. If we are able to get petrol at the rate that market effect, if no one will tell anyone that Harcourt Refinery is already working. I want to believe that government should be working towards ensuring that at this stage, all Nigerians will not believe something until they see. So government should take that in very good faith. If there are people that are still doubting that, what they should do is to just, show it to them and everyone will be on the same page.
Okay, well Adeola Yusuf, there are three issues here for people who are still raising questions and are a bit skeptical about the announcement of, operations again at that facility. Number one, the NNPCL, a place is working again. There's no price for marketers who are willing to buy the product at that facility. So that in itself is the reason why people are still asking questions. Okay, if you say something has started working, the least that people had expected is that, look, whatever we produce here, this is how much we're selling. Although the NNPCL has said that, look, they have not fixed prices here because they keep reviewing their prices and all of that. The second one, there are marketers who are saying that, look, open up the place for us to also pick products. Don't just let it not be an NNPCL affair alone. Let people also bring in their trucks. So when you start loading, that would also assure Nigerians that indeed work has started at that particular refinery. And from the Punch report of on Saturday, what is said, Adeola Yusuf, the headline is that, look, operations have been altered and the loading bay is empty. You think the loading bay is empty? Why should we have these three issues after the NNPCL had announced renewed operations at the Port Harcourt refinery?
Okay, thank you very much. Those three issues for everyone that's listening to us, if I want to, stratify them, number one, halting of the operation at the facility. Number two, there's empty loading bay or loading gantry. Then number
three, price.
Pricing.
No price.
Okay. So according to the Punch report, because of what is said, workers on ground told them that there is calibration of that facility.
Okay.
That explains the reason for the two that we first mentioned.
So just calibrating it. They are recalibrating.
Yes, and it is established that Nigerians all Nigerians may not believe until they see. But fact established is that if you are going by that statement, by that confirmation, it has come out to say that they are still working on the pricing and all that. Whether that is enough reason for people to doubt them, will be left for people, because nobody can force anybody's belief on anything. In fact, Section 22 of the Nigerian Constitution, if I'm not mistaken, a barrister is in that house. We have, or maybe it's 36 that give us the freedom of expression. So, and belief. So people can believe anything that they consider believable. So no one can fault any Nigerian for disbelieving that particular refinery. Like you have said earlier, let the government or the NNPC try its best to make sure that everyone can drive into filling station and buy that product from Port Harcourt refinery, and let's see whether people will not believe that.
Okay. Well, finally, Adeola Yusuf, there's been this back and forth, and I also had that conversation with you yesterday, that what we have going on there is just purely blending. And I think I also put it to you that I have had to check with other experts as to the difference between a refinery and a blending plant. Even though the NNPCL had also confirmed that there's a form of blending going on, NAFTA, C5, also somehow not debunking totally that Sahara Reporters report of blending basically going on in that facility. That's number one. So blending, what are the issues around that place now being a blending plant and not a refinery? We want you to help us clarify that. Then number two, so that's because I said it's going to be 10 minutes and I want to stick to 10 minutes really. The second one is that what do you think? You are a journalist, you understand information management. What do you think about information management actually from the NNPCL, the way they've been managing information as to what is going on with this Port Harcourt refinery?
Okay, thank you very much. To start with the blending and the refining, this thing is, that aspect of blending and refining is science. The blending is a part of, I'm talking of blending part. Blending plant is a part of all refineries. Is a part of all refineries. And blending as a process happens in all refineries every day. Okay, so blending is it's science, just like you are trying to distill, or to cut down a product like crude oil into various units. Like I said yesterday, from a barrel of crude oil, you can get 23 different products from it. So it depends on now, the volume of which you want to produce higher or more will depend on your economic scale, on the one that you think you can sell better. So now, for instance, there is a certain percentage of petrol you can get in a barrel of crude oil. So if you get that percentage of petrol and you get certain percentage of kerosene and diesel, and you know that you are not going to sell kerosene and diesel, there are other chemicals that you can add to kerosene and diesel that you just blend it to give you other products that I think has more economic value. So blending is a standard part of refining. There is no refinery that doesn't have a blending plant. It's a part and parcel of it. Now to talk about the information management, of course, before now we have seen that NNPC, there is that opaqueness or lack of information, total lack of information from the industry, from the information managers of the industry, NNPCL inclusive. I think because of the technological determinism, the way technology has not determined information now, they are being forced to every day now talk, every day now react. But my opinion about that is that instead of reacting to what people have said, it's always good to be proactive. It's always good to be the one to dictate the pace of agenda, to dictate the pace of
set the agenda.
Discussion. It's always good for you to not be the one to say, okay, this is what happened. And that can only be achieved if you lay bare truth and full information. There shouldn't be anything that you are withholding, because whether you like it or not, everyone will get it. We are in the age of technology, working. People are living around Port Harcourt refinery with their with their mobile phone. They can, record things. So it's always good to be proactive. Of course, people that are working with NNPCL will tell you that they are doing fine, they are doing their best. But I think there is always one room for everything, and that is the room for improvement.
All right. Well, Adeola Yusuf, luckily you'll be there tomorrow. So would expect to also get some
crude oil when it's coming back.
They do bunkering. That's what I know.
Okay, petrol.
They won't bring petrol. That's what too dangerous. But
no blended one.
Adeola Yusuf,
thank you, my brother.
Do you have any questions for him by Curtis?
No, I think
the only thing that I want to ask is that as we speak now, There is no can Adiola Yusuf confirm it to us as we speak now.
Yes.
From Wednesday till today.
Today, yes.
There is no truck loading fuel at that particular blended refinery.
Can you can you confirm to us that nobody's loading anything yet at that, whether it's an NPCL truck or trucks of marketers? Nobody's loading. Is that confirmed?
Okay. So because of the fact that I'm a journalist and I understand, how sacred truth is.
Truth is, yes.
Yes, I cannot say anything because I am not there.
So when you get there tomorrow,
all that we can, all we can, make, what everyone can do now is to make reference to what someone has said or what we have read someone. I've just told you now, few hours ago on Arise TV, the national president of the Nigerian Chemical Engineers Association of Nigeria, is the highest body of chemical engineers in the country, said that refinery is back to life.
Okay. What?
The point report, said it was yesterday, a Saturday, said that loading bay is empty, but that place is working. You understand? So everything we are saying, I cannot say, that this is what happened based on the fact that I know truth is sacred because I've not been there. You understand?
You'll be, of course, I'm watching my TV now also here in the studio, and the big question is Port Harcourt Refinery producing or not? Luckily, you'll be there tomorrow. I would expect you to give us an on-the-spot assessment of what is going on at that particular facility. Thank you so much, Adiola. I said it was going to be a very short interview, and I appreciate the fact that you made out time, really, to talk to us this evening. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. All
right. Well, that was the voice of Adiola Yusuf. I told me that, look, he would have loved to be in the studio live with us, but he has an early flight to catch tomorrow to be at that facility. So I'm sure we'll have him back again, really. But Mr. Curtis, you listen to me.
I will be very happy to have this refinery back on stream.
Of course.
I'll be extremely happy. At least it would be something that this government has achieved. Yeah. And we are all rooting for them to achieve something. Because like we said, we've always stayed in the studio here. Nobody is happy that Nigeria is not doing well.
Of course, yes. We are Nigerians and we are in Nigeria.
The success of this government is our success. The failure is our failure. Yes. And right now that things are not going well, we are all suffering from it. So we wish them the very best. However, because of that desire, we are not going to gloss over things. I am not too warm towards the disposition of the chemical engineers in Nigeria. If you understand how toxic politics has taken over everything.
Professionalism.
Somebody probably will be looking for a job from somebody in the government, and they have been told to go out there and then...
And defend indefensible.
And all that. Look, it's a matter of days. We will know. What NNPCL had just done is like a bank that has been building up gradually to say we are opening our branches to the general public next week.
And
then they open the bank. And then 2 days later they say, oh, we need to calibrate our system. We didn't do it before we open the branches.
So people will say, why did you open it in the first place?
In fact, it will lead to a run on the bank for those who already have money there. Yeah. Because they'll start thinking that something is fundamentally wrong with this thing. Just like the CBN governor saying they will punish severely banks that are withholding cash from customers. I mean, is he just getting to know that? Today, for most Nigerian banks, you can't go and get 100,000 from your account.
Cash.
Notwithstanding that they said for an individual, it's 150 a day. And then for corporate organizations, I think it's 500.
500,000, yeah, cash over the counter.
You can't, to get 100,000, you had to beg. You go to the ATM, the ATM does not allow you to take more than 20,000.
But the POS man across the road
have the raw cash.
in fact, I think it was last week that they said one of the operations manager in one of the banks has over 170 POS points. And they all have cash, mint. But you as a customer of a bank, you go into the bank, you can't find, there's no cash.
The mystery of the mint notes in Nigeria is baffling. I don't think anybody has gone to the bank and get money across the country and got mint. But you go to parties, people are selling.
They're
it,
selling, yeah.
You know, so you know.
New one. But one thing about this
Port Harcourt refinery, yes.
refinery. Look, I said it during the week. I don't see any Nigerian, living or dead, that is more Nigerian than I do.
So they can't question your
Nobody can question my loyalty.
Patriotism to the country.
Nobody can, because my father is a Nigerian, my mother is a Nigerian. My great, they are all Nigerians. So nobody can say
that's the guy.
nobody can say that he's more Nigerian than I do. As much as we love Nigerians to work, we will not allow anybody to lie on our sensibility. On Wednesday, yes. I specifically sent somebody from Rumigbo. That person is not a journalist, but I just told him what he's going to do for me. Leave Rumigbo, go to that refinery.
Yes.
Stay in front of that particular refinery for 4 hours. I'm talking about Wednesday.
The thing happened on Tuesday. You're talking about Wednesday.
On Wednesday,
yes.
No truck
took anything out of that facility.
Out of that particular facility.
No,
what it means is this.
Yes.
What they've just shown us, and if you look at the video that was sent out by NNPCL itself, not by journalists, we're only showing few trucks. In fact, 3 trucks. And if you have a community leader, part of the community that holds that particular place is telling us, because he has his brothers and sisters working there.
Of course, a lot of them work in that facility.
So what is important there is that NNPCL should take their time. If they still want to work on that refinery to be working, they should work on it. And now, by the time they are through and it's not ready, call all journalists the way Dangote did. We all went there with one fear. They will load in our presence. We are going to see, so that when we are going out, we'll be able to tell people this is what has happened. But what has just happened is just a farce, a comedy that they've just shown us. And the painful part of it is this. The community leader was challenging NNPCL. If they think he's lying, from tomorrow, that was Wednesday, he said it on Wednesday,
so
on Thursday, that NNPCL should open it to marketers
to bring in their trucks.
And it doesn't happen. Now, they should take their time. Another one is that if it's blending, they should let us know. Because even if we are not engineers and we are not chemical engineers or whatever, we know a particular company beside Dangote here in Lagos that has a blending plant that is luring and begging Dangote to be giving him crude oil for him to be blending in that particular place. So we know that the refinery that refine is different from blending. Another thing again is that they should tell us the true position of things. By the time they are telling us we'll be free, we know many Nigerians, they don't trust this government. And it is obvious. But one thing there is that they should tell us what has happened. All right. And they should move on along with that.
This is my worry, is that the lethargic behavior of our public organizations and institutions may be at work here. How do you start production, announce that you are loading products,
of course, show us trucks, and
you have not fixed your price
for
the same product? Because the mere fact that you took crude oil from your organization, which has a price, you added the cost of refining to it, and then the cost of transportation. At least you should have
a basic thing as to pricing. You are not sure.
Look at Dangote Refinery. They, from the moment they were going to roll out, they said this is the price we are selling.
We're going to start with diesel and we'll sell it at this price. It was PMS that became problematic.
Yes, but eventually they fixed the price.
Yes.
So that again points to the fact that the NNPC may just be putting up a smooth screen here because they have been blamed so long by Nigerians. People have lost faith in.
So they were just desperate to show us something.
Yes, they're just desperate, and they probably may have hoodwinked the president into believing that something significantly has happened in the place. But don't forget that he has enough resources to know exactly what is happening in any government institution in this country. So, like Adiola Yusuf said, we're hoping that he will go there tomorrow and probably will we'll get back and you will inform Nigerians about the true state of things. But right now, a lot of people don't believe that anything really is happening there.
Okay, well, you can't really blame Nigerians if the place is not active as expected when it was said that operations have started again at that particular facility. Well, it's still Political Roundtable, mainland 98.3 FM. Luckily, we should be able to get some, good information from Yusuf when he returns from that fast. Probably we will reach out to him tomorrow in the Situation Room to get some information from him as to what he's seeing in that particular place. Well, we're still streaming the show live on Facebook and YouTube, and you can also listen to us via the Radio Garden platform. I can see that a number of people are already dropping their messages on our Facebook and YouTube platforms. You can also do the same. We'll definitely take those messages. But Mr. Curtis, it's been a very wonderful trip for the president and his entourage. It's been a very, very lavish celebration, I must say. I think the French are a good host anytime, any day, really. From the music to the food to the, everything we've seen looks very, very good. The business community in Nigeria, I also have, it's an A-list of people, really, who have also traveled to France. We've seen bank branches open in Paris. And so it's all been very, very wonderful, really. If you look at the 3-day state visit, I've been a lot of arguments as to what's a state visit and what's an official visit. But it's a state visit. The French president had invited our president, and it's all been very, very rosy. But there are questions, really, as to what are we gaining from this and what are we likely to lose from this particular relationship with France. There are people who think it's a renewed relationship. There are some who said, no, there's nothing new. Nigeria has always been friends with France. They have a lot of investments in Nigeria, blah, 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 and all of that. But this is it, Mr. Curtis. Let's first talk about the opposition political parties questioning the frequency of travel of our president and the vice president. Reports are saying that, both the president and the vice president have had 43 trips across 28 countries in the last 18 months. We just got notified that the president will be leaving France for South Africa tomorrow again. So he's not returning yet. He's going to be traveling again to South Africa. So we'll first deal with these questions around these frequent trips. Again, the vice president also led. It's almost like a dual thing. The president leaves, the vice president also goes somewhere else. And so people are worried that, look, it's been some form of globe-trotting for the president and the vice president. The president, for example, according to the Punch, the analysis is showing that, look, he has visited 17 countries on 13 foreign trips in the last 18 months. So that's one conversation we're going to have. Then the second one is, what do you think we're going to gain, really, from all of this? And the issue of maybe we are going to lose some things when it comes to regional security. That's probably going to affect our own security because, again, you have a lot of these francophone countries who border Nigeria, who are distancing themselves already from France, Senegal, Gabon, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad. So if these are all, neighbors who are strategic to our own internal security, who are saying, no, we don't want to deal with them again, but we are now bringing them close, showing them that, look, you have a friend in us, Nigeria, Mr. President, France. How does that affect us? So let's first take the issue of globetrotting and the frequent trips of the president and vice president. You think we are unnecessarily raising issues? A busy president should go out there to bring in foreign direct investment, like the presidency is already telling us.
So, based on your statistics,
yes,
both the president and his vice have gone out 43 times.
43 trips across 28 countries. Yeah.
Have they brought in 43 billion naira? I'm just asking.
I don't have the figure.
Just for 1 billion naira for one. Let's assume that it's 1 billion per trip.
Maybe it's still work in progress.
Well, I think this is the reality. The president can travel. It's within his right to travel. He can travel in pursuit of strategic Nigerian interests. But then we have the right to also question the utility or the usefulness
of these trips.
Especially with an economy that is on the slide. Now, the president can make the argument that it's because of the economic situation that I'm traveling more, because I need to reassure the world that in spite of all they have heard and read, the Nigerian economy is still viable for you to come and invest. All right? And I think that's why he's going around. Also, don't forget that he's a new president. He assumed the office about 18 months ago.
Yeah.
He's got to interact with other world leaders in some of these fora. And because, you see, for him to visit all of them in their countries, he's got to travel more than he's traveling. And so sometimes it takes the advantage of these gatherings, like the G20, the one is going
BRICS
tomorrow,
summit,
the BRICS summit and all that, to interact with some of these world leaders and assure them that, look, or reassure them that Nigeria is a good place for investment. So I don't have so much, but then on a lighter mood, why did you think he bought a new plane?
Oh, really?
Was it just to park it in Abuja and be admiring it?
You buy a new car, you must rev it.
Exactly.
You must move it around.
So the president is ready to journey.
Okay,
He's a journeyman.
So the justification for that new plane,
yeah, because
we're already seeing it.
I think he had his plans laid out about what he wants to achieve. I mean, and I also remember that Nigerians complained about Obasanjo over traveling in his first term, and I think that this comes with the office, the enthusiasm, to get to know other world leaders, to go out there, talk to them about your country, the desire to bring in more foreign investment. But I think that every government in Nigeria must understand something. Investors are not going to come into your country because you are just assuring and reassuring them.
It's an easy in, easy out. That's the choice.
This guy
that's the buzzword from the president now.
Yeah.
Say, bring in your investment,
If
easy
you don't,
in,
if
easy
you don't
out.
want, you can take it out.
Yeah, that's what he said.
But see, here is the reality. There are things, specific ingredients that must be present in any country, except for rogue investors who will come to an economy and want to cash out and cut corners, manipulate the entire system.
But for proper investors who want to do the right thing.
Yeah, you can have some investors bringing money into this country, just go into our stock exchange, implode the system, and move their money and go out.
And we're not looking for people like that.
No. But if you are looking for manufacturers, and this is where we must ask ourselves, now, if that economy is so good, why you are telegraphing a different kind of message to investors in the world? Investors are looking at your country and say, oh, why is
Inflation, this...
Smith Klein, why is Beecham
Living?
Why is Liver Brothers living?
Why is this one?
Why is Dunlop?
So
why are all
if-
these
if-
organizations?
If the big ones are leaving, why should we go there?
Exactly. The other thing is the pace of justice dispensation. When you have a problem in the system where you are taking your funds to, how soon can you get justice if you can get justice at all?
When it had to take the Chinese to leave Nigeria and go to the UK to
To the
get
France.
justice.
And that's why you see that for most international agreements, there's a clause on arbitration. That the location is either in France or US or United Kingdom. Because most people, so it's not about how many times the president travels. It's about what he has succeeded in doing in this local environment. How secured is Nigeria? How fast is justice dispensation? Do you understand? How easy is it for those who have brought in their money to get dollars and take the money out of the country if they want to? Because, of course, every economy, no matter how bad it is, will attract rogue investors. You go to Afghanistan today, they are there. You go to Iraq, they are there. You understand?
So,
in fact, when Sierra Leone was fighting a war,
No, people were there.
there were some Nigerians who were there.
Basically stealing their resources and
So it's not about just foreign
investment. What kind of
Or
investment?
that you're always going out. And look, here, we have no way or means of knowing whether these trips are achieving their desired results or not. Because what we get to hear all the time is that, oh, Mr. President trips yielded X, Y, Z of foreign investment. But thereafter, we don't even see the real investment coming. Now, we look at what we saw.
Or these people have pledged these are billions of dollars.
Yes.
They've pledged this, invest. So there's been a lot of pledge.
Yes.
But where are the
like
investments?
pledges that are done during book launch. Most of them don't come in.
And they don't.
Now,
If some of them we check that will bounce eventually.
but I think we saw an example
Yeah.
of what direct foreign investment is on the reverse side. We saw how Nigerian banks went to France to establish
and
branches.
did what they needed to do immediately.
Yes. In fact, you have to see online the party that Zenith Bank held
for opening a branch there.
For opening a branch. You have to witness how the president of Nigeria was solidly behind Tony Elumelu while he was signing the agreement.
You do this there immediately.
Do you understand? You had to see how Dᴏɪṛ was standing with the president of France and the president of Nigeria, displaying the agreement he had signed with them for the exploitation of our mineral resources.
Exploration and exploitation, sir.
So well, it depends on how you say it.
Okay.
Say the cup is half empty,
or it's half full.
Or it's half full. But what I'm saying is that we saw a typical example of what direct foreign investment can be. Or rather, before he came back from Brazil, he had some Brazilians visit him. And what we heard was that they are coming to invest in the 774 local governments in Nigeria. That, of course, what caught my attention. What are these guys going to do?
In all the 774?
They have to come here, first of all, start something and scale up.
It can't even be all the local government.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm asking myself, what kind of industry are they coming to establish?
In all the 774 local government.
I think the president might have good intentions. And he believes strongly that his words as the president of Nigeria will be encouraging and convincing and captivating to foreign investors. And as a result of that, they might want to bring in their money. And I think that he truly believes in that, and that is going to have an impact with time. Like if you listen to the Minister of Finance, WဃÇ, he said so yesterday. But however, it is important that the situation in Nigeria is made to be conducive for foreign investment. Because investors don't bring in their funds because
of what your president said.
No, they understand that it's a risky venture when you take your funds out to a country that is not yours. So you have to be protected. You have to be shielded against the vagaries of forces within that country. And the best way to get that done is through an effective judiciary. Not the judiciary that a case will last for as long as it takes. And then you hear stories about people being, judges not being upright and all that. So, and then when they also don't have security, they cannot move around. Look at the business people that we have. Look at the Indian business people, the Lebanese business people in Nigeria. From their offices in VI to the airport, look at the convoy of mobile policemen that accompanies them to the airport. Not everybody wants that kind of situation. Yes. And
so judiciary, security, infrastructure.
Yes, and then the institutions. The institutions that we allowed them to bring in their funds. I mean, have you not heard about stories of people wanting to bring in their funds to invest, and then certain organizations in Nigeria, government are saying, if you don't give us so amount of money, you cannot come in. So these are things that are very critical for foreign investment to come in. Now, he also has to resolve in the minds of the investors. Why are the manufacturing giants
living
that have been in your country for so long, why are they living? So mere words of encouragement is not going to bring foreign investment. But he has the right to go after them. And if he wants to travel every week, it's his right. He's the president of the country. We gave him he's given the mandate to govern the country. We cannot micromanage how he governs, but he has to measure the results with the efforts. And like I said, if
Nuruddin, again for sake of information, President Tinubu, and this is a State House press release signed by Mr. Bayo Onanuga, who is saying President Tinubu to co-chair 11th session of the Binational Commission with President Ramaphosa of South Africa. And he's saying that, look, the president will be leaving France on Monday, that's tomorrow, for Cape Town, South Africa, to co-chair the 11th session of the Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission alongside President Cyril Ramaphosa. Now, back to the trip in France, there are concerns, Nuruddin. A lot of, international relations experts are warning that we might be running into trouble with what is happening, especially at the Sahel region, where you have countries already pushing out France. Their strategic alliances are being dismantled. Countries that used to allow France to have their colonial masters actually to have military base are already saying that, look, we don't want these. A lot of them are already tilting towards Nigeria. We can't do away with these guys. We are just talking about Lukarawa group that came in all the way from the Sahel region. So do you think we have to be a bit careful, really? Yes, we know that France has always invested in Nigeria. We have a lot of French companies with investment in the country. But this sudden romance, these optics, the things we are putting out, do you think that we could be running into trouble with the kind of message we are sending to these guys who are already saying bye-bye, some form of bye-bye to France?
Well, if you look at the way Nigerians sit today and look around the countries that surround us,
yes,
you will discover that we are in the middle of many Francophone countries. So, and these Francophone countries are already ending their ties with France.
Yeah.
Look, this relationship that we want to cement it, or we have cemented with France now, France will gain a lot. In fact, they are already gaining as we speak, because they are looking for. By the time they've lost Chad, they've lost Niger, and they've lost Mali,
Burkina Faso,
Senegal.
Yeah, even Senegal.
If you put all of them together, you know that if you have Nigeria, in terms of population, you know that you have the population that will create virtually all of them.
All of these other countries, yeah.
Then two, in terms of resources, we are also bigger than all of them put together. So what France wants to do is that having a country in the West Africa that will be substituted
for all of these other
countries together now among themselves.
Yeah.
Now in the area of security, and don't forget that in all these states, not that they are totally free from division. So some of them that have military division in their own state, the fallout, and because we have a porous border, especially with Chad, especially with Niger. In fact, there are some houses in Niger. House side is Niger. Backyard is Nigeria. In fact, I try to be corrected. Even if you have thousands of presidents pulled together, that they should be molding block, they cannot mold the border between Nigeria and Niger and Chad.
I think Niger alone borders about 6 states.
They can,
no, 6 to 7 states.
I said there are some building. One will face like
7
this
states,
Niger.
yeah.
The backyard is Nigeria. In fact, there is a particular place that I visited that I slept there, and one person was telling me, do you know that where you put your leg in that hotel, that where I put my leg is Nigeria, where my head is in Niger, to see how very close. So the fallout is already affecting our security. Now Nigeria needs to be wise up. For us to gain from this relationship with France, we must put some certain structure on ground, or else we are not going to gain anything. If we like, we should open billions of banks in France. They would rather be gaining than us gaining from them. We need to put some certain structures on ground. In the area of security, can French assisted us?
Can they really give us the needed support?
How many of their colonies have they assisted? Why are they having trouble in all those states that they are colonies, their former colonies? If they've truly assisted them, then don't forget the style of way France have made all those particular colonies, ones. Yeah. Then what are the structures that we're supposed to put on ground for us to gain from this? One, do we have any viable agricultural companies owned by Nigerians that they can support to have an establishment here, that we are not going to be just taking all their resources,
raw materials out,
but we can manufacture here? Two, can they help us in the area of medicals? Can we have French companies coming from abroad and situated here and produce what other companies that have left us can produce? Then another thing again is that in terms of economy, what is the economy of France that can benefit our own economy? I do tell people, no matter the name we want to give to Olusegun Obasanjo, that he has traveled a lot during his own tenure, but are they even put it into consideration how much Chief Olusegun Obasanjo led government by Atiku heading the economic team brought to Nigeria. Then two, declaring of our debts into millions of dollars at that particular time before we start accumulating a lot of loans after that. But at least it cleared and it showed us some certain leverage. Now, our president needs to watch it. We need to put some certain structure on ground, or else all this traveling around will not benefit us. Will only benefit those people we are trying to have a relationship with, especially in the area of security. Now, Niger is not settled. Chad is not settled. Mali is also here and there, not there. Burkina Faso is the same thing, because they have internal problem in all this country we are talking about. And now they are looking for a way where they can train. That's why you see the Nigerian army trying fine, but they need to work hard to make sure we finish this new group, or else by the now they said they've been part of Niger as we speak. Nigeria now. And when they are settled in a particular phrase that I know, even Nigerian army cannot bombard it anyhow, then we need to be watching it.
Okay, well, Barrister Curtis, I think we're having some sideline discussions before the show as to why there seems to be a sudden shift from the United Kingdom. And suddenly there's a lot of talk around France, and there are indications to the reason why there seems to be sudden, interest, apart from the fact that the president also frequents France. Now, if he goes out, the next thing we hear is that he has gone to France, he's gone to, so what's happening? Are we losing something? Is there something that is taking our minds away from the United Kingdom and putting us to begin to look at France as the next option for investment?
So there is what I call interest compatibility here. First and foremost, with the exit of Britain from Europe,
the Brexit,
from the European Union, meant that the justice system in the United Kingdom will stop with the highest court in the country, unlike submitting itself to the European court, which is more liberal in terms of approach to things. The second thing that has happened is that the United Kingdom had enacted a law known as Unexplained Wealth Order.
Unexplained Wealth Order.
Yes. Which means that if the government feels that you are corrupt or you have resources either in physical cash in the banks or houses all over London or in the United Kingdom, and the government suspects that there are proceeds of corruption or fraud from your own country, the onus is on you to justify to the government in the United Kingdom how you made the money. They have nothing to prove to show that these are proceeds of corruption. And of course, some key Nigerian politicians have had to confront that system. So you'll find that many Nigerians, especially the political class, are running away from the United Kingdom to go to France. And that's the reason why you see that Nigerian banks are also moving to France.
Is it because of unexplained wealth?
Well, the system has become tougher and stricter. So you now find these banks also going to establish, because of the presence of Nigerian businessmen, it means that they are going to be able to carry out businesses for their clients who are now based more in France.
Migrating to France, yeah.
Don't forget that about 4 or 5 years ago, every time you heard about the president, he was in the United Kingdom.
That's it. It used to be the UK.
He used to be the UK. Even when he went for that new surgery, that people were visiting him before he even threw his hat in the ring to contest for president. He was always in the United Kingdom.
When he want to go and arrest himself, United Kingdom.
The houses, one of the houses, I think I was taken from Desani, that allegedly bought by the former governor of Osun. I think Mr. ᴏᴜᴜ, and then say was eventually transferred to the president. So the president used to be a London man. That's where he used to be based. But now when he travels out of the country, if he visits the United Kingdom, probably just a day. Like the other time, he was cited, I think, coming out of the hospital.
In the UK.
But his holidays are France.
He's now in France. That's why I'm asking questions.
When he was putting up his team together, after the election, he was in France.
The meeting was held in France.
He has a big house. He lives in France. It's his second home. So he's a good friend of Emmanuel Macron. They have been together. But the difference here is that Macron invited him for a state visit and put up a show.
A big show, actually.
To the point that the French musicians
How to learn Nigerian
that
songs.
played were singing music by P-Square and some others.
And others, yeah.
It was a real show. And when you ask yourself and say, why? What does France
really?
think gain? The United Kingdom. And that is because France is in need of a new marriage. Given what has happened to France in the last few years, France has lost influence over Burkina Faso, Mali,
Niger.
Niger.
Even in Chad, is shaky.
In fact, last week, Senegal also announced
Strategic cooperation when it comes to their military
Technical,
alliance.
yeah,
it's
want
coming
do
to an end.
Even though they still want to maintain relationships,
course.
but that strategic alliance when it comes to
Leave us,
security,
let us secure
ourselves. Yeah.
So, and also don't forget that in most of these countries, they have also kicked out the French military.
Yeah.
That maintain
We don't-
bases
bases
in
in
this
those
place.
countries, yeah.
And this is the basis of the speculation that Nigerian president is also considering giving a military base to the French. So basically, what Macron is doing is seeking for a new bride, because with the exit of of Britain from Europe, the dominant economies today in Europe are Germany and France.
Yeah.
And France is hemorrhaging because it's losing its colonial territories. You know, where he gets a lot of mineral resources and all that.
Even the analysis from a French platform is showing that their level of investment and control when it comes to economy, resources, and all that in Africa is dwindling seriously.
Yeah, because
that China is even taking it over.
No, the thing is that if you are a French colony in Africa, you must have certain amount of money
Domicile there.
In the bank.
in the French central bank. Okay, that's compulsory for all of them. And these are the things that these guys are tearing away. They say, look, we have to be we're independent countries. We cannot continue to be perpetual stooges or vestiges, colonial vestiges. And so what happens? Emmanuel Macron had to go out and look for new territories. Of course, none is bigger than Nigeria as we speak today.
The economy, the resources.
They're also having problem with Gabon, with the military takeover in Gabon.
In Gabon, yeah.
So this is a beautiful bride. Nigeria is in fact, even with the Boko Haram, there have been stories of French mercenaries
yeah.
delivering arms, encouraging these guys.
And all the issues of coup plots, coup plots in all their colonies.
Illegally stealing our
Resources,
mineral resources. And so when I saw that agreement that was signed, where the Minister of Solid Minerals was so happy,
beaming with smile,
and holding it up, you would think, that the reverse is the case, that it's Nigeria that just signed an agreement to go and take mineral resources
from
France, and not France coming to Nigeria to take.
Yes.
So I think that, and then what does Nigeria stand to gain? First of all, the president and his team can be rest assured that if there's an attempt for a military takeover, he has an ally in the president, Macron, whom I want to mobilize global power in support of him. That's one. Secondly, it's an opportunity to expand the economy of France, especially that in their traditional territories, they are losing ground. So they want to come. Of course, you can't get a country better and bigger than Nigeria.
Yeah.
Over 200 million people. And then the third and the most important thing is the fact that France understands today that the Nigerian government is in search of some legitimacy.
You talked about that, yeah.
And you also have to understand, like, international politics is conducted like personal businesses. If I have some things on you, okay, there are advantages that I will gain because I have those information.
So you become very vulnerable.
Vulnerable. And this was why, when, in as much as I did not support the current president to be president, you recall that I had said that shortly after his election,
we should be careful to delegitimize that government. Yeah.
How we delegitimize him, because world powers will tap onto that. And in his quest to seek legitimacy,
by all means,
he's bound to make concessions that
that
ordinarily
may not
would not have
necessarily
made.
benefit us, but benefit him.
Benefit him because he needs that strong personal relationship with them,
to affirm his legitimacy
and
as
then
president.
cut some deals and have leverages on the international system. And this is exactly what we are saying. But in conclusion, the desire by the Nigerian government, okay, or the concomitant or the mutual desire by France and Nigeria to have better alliance, strategic business alliance is good. But the devil, like they say, is always in the details.
In the detail. So we have to take. But before we move on this particular issue, we saw the entourage of the president. I think the entire presidency went to France.
I saw
governors.
I saw his son.
I was going to get there. Yeah.
Dancing, and I think that has become a recurrent theme now. And someone asked me, in what capacity
is Tinubu
and Yinka Tinubu, in what capacity are they traveling with their father?
Is Nigeria funding their trips?
Don't forget that Sheyi used to sit at ESCO meetings.
Yes.
And Mr. President
had to tell him one day to
say that issued a statement saying he doesn't want his son to sit. But I think Mr. President himself also may have forgotten about that. Well, it's not unusual. It's not unusual.
Okay.
For presidents all over the world to travel on state visit with members of their families.
Okay.
President Obama used to travel with his wife, his mother-in-law, and his 2 daughters. However, the difference, why they can sit in banquets, like when they visited the Queen, you saw that Obama's wife, her mother, and all that.
Enjoy majorly the ceremonies around that visit. Yeah.
Yes. But what they don't do is that they don't attend official meetings where state affairs are conducted. Okay? And I think this is where the challenge is. That either those who mind the president or his gatekeepers cannot muster enough strength or courage
to rein in Sheyi Tinubu when he's overshooting his bounds.
Yes. You know, and then you ask a question, who is paying for his trip? Of course, it's got to be the federal government. I mean, are you going to tell him not to enter the aircraft where his father is seated? you understand?
Who you be?
Who is fueling the aircraft? It's the federal government.
Yes.
So I think it's the difficulty here is that why this is not strictly illegal.
Like the difference between a state visit and official visit.
So an official visit can be part of a state visit.
Yes.
But the difference between the state visit and official visit is that not all, if it's a state visit, there must be a banquet.
Ceremonies must come with it.
Yes, ceremony will have to come. A brief official meeting. The man comes today, he lands here, you have all your meetings.
He's straight to business, really. Sort what you have to sort and leave.
And then he leaves. But this was a show. And that means that France has put a lot of premium on Nigeria right now. And it also helped that both President Macron and President Tinubu have personal relationship.
Of course, yes.
And then there's the connection of the Chagori brothers who are also very powerful in France. So the coming days are interesting.
Okay, coming days are interesting. Still political roundtable, mainland 98.3 FM. Yeah, we will be opening the phone lines at 7:30 exactly. So let's just quickly deal with the last issue we have on the roundtable. Afenifere, Ohaneze, and other ethnic groups, really, but these are the major ethnic groups now, social, cultural ethnic groups saying that, look, they are recommending regionalism and parliamentary system as the only way to tackle various challenges plaguing the country. The major ethnic groups under the aegis of the Rebirth Group, TRG, also said the country should be renamed United Regions of Nigeria.
Abia.
URN. Not Abia, how?
Abia.
So while they are suggesting that regionalism, parliamentary system of government is the way out, is the only solution, let's have regions. Let's break ourselves into regions like we did earlier and make the regions more powerful. Let them be independent, control their resources, do their own thing, and then have a very weak center that they can just contribute to, and then we have a parliamentary kind of government where it's just representations of these regions. But we also have to now to solidify that arrangement. We should rename Nigeria, from Nigeria to United Regions of Nigeria, more like United States of America. So you now have United Regions of Nigeria, URN. Nuruddin, does this solve our problem? And can this be done? Can it happen?
Well, can it solve our problem? No, because our problem are multifaceted. Not system of government that will solve our problem. Because system of government has not been our problem. I do tell people, it's just the way we practice our own federalism.
So federalism is not the problem?
It's not the problem. It's not. We know a lot of countries that are not even what we use. Is Saudi Arabia using what we are using? Is United Arab Emirates use what they are using? Are they not performing very well? Even the countries that are using authoritarianism, are they not enjoying? What is the benefit of governance? It's for people, for their welfare, and that is what is important. In our own case, look, I know because there are a lot of minor in every geopolitical zone. There are some people that are minority in every geopolitical zone. And those minorities in different seats of our geopolitical zones are not happy. And if you look at it, for instance, you discover that, look at Southwest, for instance, now. You look at whatever that happens in the polity, Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo, they are the major beneficiaries I can think of. Ondo Ekiti, they are not so that.
Is it this government or what?
Naturally. That is always be. And another thing again is that when we are now looking at minority in terms of tribe, in each of what is Egun benefited? Egun is part of the Southwest. What have they benefited? Can you compare what they benefited compared to those people that are?
So what you are saying is, even if we go into regionalism,
we
are still going to have minorities
within the region. The many minorities are still going to suffer. And that is the thing. That's why having this. Then another thing again is this. Maybe what they are looking at is this. If they look at the development that happened when we use regionalism at that particular time, especially in the West here, where Obafemi Awolowo, through a lot of things, the agriculture, the education, even the economics, if that is where they are coming from, those type of politicians are not available again. No,
you think so?
These type of politicians that we have, ajegunjẹran ni wọ́n. That means they will eat meat, they would eat bone, and in fact swallow the eat and bone together.
So but don't you think the structure can reform their minds and thinking to now begin to do what others did?
In fact, if we use regionalism now, we just anchor for ourselves and add it over to these people. Because one thing there is that what make regionalism to work at that particular time, majority of the politicians then, they look at legacy. They look at legacy. How come that Obafemi Awolowo is from Ijebu? By the time they want to put the seat of power in the region, he put it in Ibadan.
This one to put it straight in Ikenne.
He would have put it in straight in Ikenne and nothing would have happened.
I don't know. There's something being reported. Okay, yeah, I think it's
you understand now?
In Osun State.
Yes.
Where there's a question about
they want to move the airport, propose the airport to Ede. That is how okay. You remember Muhammad Saleh, the former minister of power?
Power, yeah.
During his own tenure as a minister, he approved the power plant 2 in his local government. It's not just in local government, in his own village. 2, the one for Nigeria.
3 village.
2 in his village. No. And that is the thinking. Now, what we should be thinking, what I think all these Pandey, all these Afenifere, what they should be talking about. They should be talking about 3 things. Renaming. When you say United Regions of Nigeria, they will even remove Nigeria because Nigeria was not given by Nigerians. We know how that name came from. They will have given another name, but the name is not even our problem. What they should be talking about now is that, number 1, they should be talking about good governance. They should be talking about good governance. Irrespective that Afenifere represents Yoruba and whatever, they should be facing the president and be telling the president, since you become president, what has happened to the price of foodstuff? What has happened to agriculture? Nigerians are suffering. These are the things they should be good governance. Then the second one is that they should be talking about the reports that have been done The report that can unify us. That can bring us together. We remember the one of 2014 confab. They should be pushing that particular agenda. ROUNDTABLE reports those things that can better our country
and our democracy, to deepen our democracy.
Just look at that particular confab, what the report of that particular confab, and how it can better Nigeria, because we need unity and we need upliftment. These are the things that they should be saying. Not all is creating security outfits in those states. Cannot solve our problem. Can only do little, but cannot solve our problem. I think they should be talking about how at each zone, like Southwest Geopolitical Zone is talking about Amotekun, how can they make it fortified? That is going to be in every state. That is going to fortify as a regional geopolitical zone arrangement now, where they can come together. Thank God that all the 6 states, the governors can sit down together. They do have meeting. They should channel their own report. We want all of you to work together for the sake of our geopolitical zone. And South should do the same thing. Southeast should do the same thing. North Central should do the same thing. Northwest and Northeast should do the same thing. These are the things they should be pushing forward. Renaming will not do anything to Nigeria. Will not do anything to Nigeria.
Okay. Well, Barrister Curtis, this is what Afenifere, Ohaneze, and these other groups are saying.
First of all, I have an advice for them. They should focus on things of culture. These people should focus.
Since they are social cultural groups.
They should focus
on like things
cultural,
like our local dance, Egungun festival.
Promote morality within the culture, which used to be the fabric of our nation.
The way our food
and leave partisan politics, because their ideas are archaic. Unfortunately, the train left the station before they arrived.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe they are running after the train now.
People are acting and talking like we suffer from collective amnesia in this country. When we had the regions, why did we abandon regions and created states? Were there no complaints about the operations of the region? The military coups that we had before, were there not during regional governments? Why did we create the Midwestern states? There were serious agitation. People who
the influence of the Awolowo and the South.
It is still politics now.
Okay, so there will still be politics.
Of course. Listen, people think that there are Nigerians who have this mindset. They have the simplest solution to the most complex problems.
And they think it will just solve the problem.
Let me tell you, out of 193 countries in the world that are members of the United Nations, 165 of them practice unitary system of government.
And a lot of them are thriving.
No, hold on. Out of this 165, China, France, Britain, they practice unitary system of government. Okay? The 10 best countries in the world in terms of development and the economy, 7 of them practice unitary system of government.
Central controlled.
So this whole in terms of quality of living and everything, no country has developed because it is a true federalism,
or it's a regional arrangement,
or because it's a unitary system. Countries develop because of their patriotic, hardworking, open, honest, committed leadership.
Yes.
There is no system that is perfect in the world. Human beings cannot build a system that is perfect. The United States was conceived as an idea, a city on a hill. After 245 years, they are still talking about building a better country. Now,
it's still work in progress.
It's still work in progress. The U.S. Constitution has suffered from 27 amendments,
all towards having a better, democracy.
And there are still gaps in that Constitution. It's because of the increasing division now that the two major parties cannot come together and effect more amendments. But the way we deceive ourselves in this part of the world is to feel and say that, when we go back to our enclaves, we will know how to deal with our problems.
So automatically everything will be.
Let me tell you now, the regions, let me tell you how your regions will look like.
If we do it now.
It is how the states are looking like that the regions will look like. When we split the center, all the thieves at the center will go back to their regions.
Yes.
Even
All the criminals will go back to their region. All the looters will go back to their region.
and take it over.
The mere fact that there's a region will not reform anybody.
Will not do.
Louis Brandy was the one who said, states are the laboratories of democracy. What the states cannot do, the federal will not be able, because this is where you practice. So if, let's go back now to the Southwest.
Yes.
And we group all the states in the Southwest.
6 of them. Now, this is a region.
Regional. How does that change? Where would the new personnel that will have different mentality and attitude?
Even are the same people who
Come
And these the same people that are
building.
Say Makinde is not going to become Paul Makinde. You get the point.
And with all Ogun State is up
Look,
doing
practice unwritten
building.
You
Serious
see,
commitment.
you see somebody who is accused of corruption. You know what he does? He leaves the government.
Before they even tell him,
Look at what happened in America. Trump nominated Matt Gaetz. Trump promised that on no condition will he back down
on that appointment.
On that appointment. But when Matt Gaetz himself went to the Congress members,
and they
told him no chance
no
in
way,
hell
they go.
that we're going to back you. In 1974, Richard Nixon was facing an impeachment, and he thought he could ride it out. He then sent emissaries to Republican senators to ask them one after the other, and they said to him, "Mr. President, there is no way out of this. We're going to impeach you." He resigned. What is lacking in our country is that we are lacking patriotic leaders. Leaders who are courageous, who are insightful, who are prepared to live for causes that are bigger and greater than themselves.
So the structure cannot automatically produce those leaders.
No! Structures are not going to produce. In fact, it is the leaders that will produce the structure
that will work for the country.
That will work for the people.
And if a corrupt person design a structure for you, is a corrupt
Even
structure.
the people that are talking, how well has Afenifere functioned? How well has Ohaneze functioned? Is from one crisis to another.
Have they solved that problem?
Three things that will move this country forward. Look at how long we've been talking. State police will be the one that will solve Nigeria's insecurity problem.
The state that has submitted.
But in this studio, we say that he's not going to promote state policing.
Yes.
You know, police. Now, even when we had talked about amending the constitution, do you know the things that we have amended so far? We keep talking. There is no National Assembly from 1999 that has not tinkered with this constitution.
Yes.
But we have not done fundamental amendments. What we do is, okay, the president travels, he doesn't hand over. What happens?
Okay, let's talk with that. Let's deal with that one.
A governorship candidate died in the process of the election.
So let's deal with that. But the real issues of nation building.
Nobody is talking about the structures that we're complaining about. Nobody is talking about the devolution
of powers.
Yes.
Properly.
Nobody is saying, let's look at what the federal government has got too much on the
table. Or proper electoral reforms. How do we reform the electoral process for transparency?
People are not bothered about that. Every time we are doing constitutional amendment, is about dotting the I's and crossing the T's. We are not looking at the fundamental issues. So all these are just distraction, an attempt to be heard. These are people who cannot even manage their own organizations. They are talking about, let's go back to regions. As if once we create regions, angels will come from heaven.
Just 1 minute before we open the phone line. So what exactly do you think is faulty with our federalism? Because again,
our leaders.
Gowon recently was talking about why they created states, what they are going to solve.
It is the
human element
that is wrong with our governance. Nothing more. System, when you build a system, you have to operate a system.
Yes.
And if you have the wrong mindset, today, when people go into government, what is the first thing on their mind?
There will be if
you have to go and make money.
If you say congratulations, if the congratulating messages are not because you are going to work. Yes.
If those who are supporting the government, in spite of the fact that they know the reality that things are so bad, what is their motive? What is their first reason for doing so? Is to be seen.
And you see somebody that is even begging for money behind the scene. He will now come on social media that the economy is good.
I said one guy criticized the video so much publicly about how he said the Nigerian economy was in shambles and all that. And privately he was telling me, we met, how bad the economy has become. And I said, so what is the difference between what the video said
and what you are now saying?
He said, oh, but I'm not the video.
You know, somebody even said that, look, if he reached the video that has everything at his beck and call, he's saying the economy is bad.
He just got in a Rolls Royce.
A Rolls Royce.
And then the cyber truck.
Well, you never chop this body. You argue, say, why is he say the economy is in trouble?
No, they said that as an ambassador, he should have lied.
Ambassador of what?
Well, what? Who gave you the appointment?
No,
ambassador of what?
One even said to me I should go to Osun and see what his uncle is. I said, but he's not the governor of Osun.
He's not the governor of Osun. What concern about
if Governor Adeleke steals today, would you hold him
responsible?
No, because he campaigned for it.
The video is simply saying that don't look. Okay, now.
And he even gave the indices. He talked about the foreign exchange.
Yes,
if you live in America now and you have a good job doing, and then you listen to Mr. Peter's friend who came from the US, set up here, after sending money to his wife for 3 months, he packed up and left because of the truth. And then in the process, let's reassure ourselves that things will improve. But right now, they
lashed on it. And the Port Harcourt refinery, the situation on we'll get good information.
And we need to open up for Lɪධᴇ.
The frequent trips of the presidents, what do we get? And then it really looks very, very nice the way our president and his entourage were received by the French president and the entire, cabinet of that particular administration. So we've also touched on that, the regional concerns with our Sahel brothers when it comes to security and what have you. And then we've also looked at this suggestion by Afenifere, Ohaneze, and the Arewa Constitution Front that we should go back to our regions, also party parliamentary system of government, and also rename the country. United Regions of Nigeria is the suggestion for the name. URN.
This is what we keep doing in Africa.
All right, let's open
They say, in America, you hear somebody, his name is Death.
Yeah.
You hear his name is Sinner.
Yes.
These things don't matter. In Nigeria, they say the reason why you can't make progress
is because of the name they gave to you. They say, why would somebody be wearing this Sinner?
How can somebody be dead?
I be stone.
The man who is dead will live to 90-something years abroad.
And the man who is stone is making exploits, is doing things. But yeah, you be that's why you are behaving like a stone.
The word number one in tennis now, Yannick Sinner. If he's in Nigeria, he will not win anything.
Because his name Sinner. All right. 09136000410. 09136000410. You can also drop your comments and contributions on our Facebook and YouTube platform. We'll definitely take them. The lines are officially open. 09136000410. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir. Your name, where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Andose calling from Maryland.
Anderson from Maryland. Please go on,
sir.
No,
Andose.
Andose. Okay,
that's a thief name.
Okay, from where? Maryland.
No, I'm from Taraba State.
Oh, from Taraba. Okay. Not be the same.
It's in here now. I like Taraba because I served there. It's a state.
Yeah, we are inviting you to come there again. See what's happening.
I want to visit again. I served in Donga local government and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you are very close to my place.
No problem. Please go on, Mr. Anderson.
Yeah. So I want to talk about France, the visit of the president.
Yes.
So let's start out with Macron first. When you look at his background, when he finished from National School of Administration, the highest, the most prestigious school for administration in France, he had to choose between serving outside in Korea, that is in South Korea, or Nigeria. He chose Nigeria, and he said he wanted a country close to France first, that he will have the opportunity in life to go far away. And when he was here, whether at Bodilon, at the Embassy of France here, or in Abuja, he was always, how can I say, that feeling, that positive man with Nigeria have more interest in Nigeria than in neighboring countries. What France has in neighboring countries is very important because they can vote the position of France. They make more money for France than all the French-speaking countries put together. That is a fact.
Okay, well, so our colonies, do you think that we also have...
What is happening, normally it's a good question, but what is happening in French country now is that a new generation of leaders is coming up. They say they want to rebalance. But you can't say no to France. You can't say no to the fifth largest economy.
I think you are missing one point.
So
United Kingdom. And what we see now is a resurgence of that interest greater than that of the United Kingdom since Brexit.
Diversify the economy to non-country countries. For example, in Angola now, they are investing massively. They are the one investing in gas in Mozambique,
but
South Africa and Korea. So that's what they have done.
Yeah, and,
so I think
they are up against China.
They are up against China, really. Yes. We might be thinking it's Russia,
so I
but...
think my advice to us should be this. Nigerians should at all times look at our interests. We should not close the door to anybody.
Okay.
You understand? So anytime when we are dealing, whether with Russia, whether with France, whether anybody, we look at it. What do we gain?
And that should be the most important thing.
Yes, I think that's the most important.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Andose. We're a non-aligned nation. That's the basis of our foreign policy. Yes, so we can work with anybody. And I agree with you, Mr. Andose, that look, our interests, but we're just saying that look, while we look at our own interests, there are also regional concerns that we have to pay 410. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello. Oh, okay. 09136000410. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening to you, Barrister Nuruddin. My name is Don Peters. I'm calling from First Stack.
Yes, please go on, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, it has been a while I call on this show because I always enjoy your program, but I have to call because of somebody that called asking something. Fuad, there is a guest that always come on this your radio station on Thursday.
Okay. That's Mr. Adeyemi. Yeah, Mr. Adeyemi.
Yes, Uncle asked me a question. Okay, there is something he told us, number one, that the information that comes to his table every day from Nigeria, the 37 states of Nigeria, he doesn't publish up to 5% of it. So he has so much knowledge about Nigeria.
Yeah, he's actually the head of the political desk at the Guardian newspaper.
Yes, so the man is telling us that they asked him a question. I'm going somewhere with what I'm saying.
All right.
When they asked him, the man said he knows nothing. He does not have information about the economy of Nigeria, where we are driving at, and the rest of other things. He doesn't know where this government is heading to.
All right.
Now, take it to what I'm about to say now. Whenever I listen to you people, I'm always fulfilled. But they have just told us about our romance with France, the outcome and everything. And somebody is trying to counter what they are saying. I think we should check ourselves very well. These people are epitome of knowledge. They have told you everything. Okay, what is our interest in the romance with our China, with their France now? Can anybody tell me our interest, the interest of Nigeria? Can anybody tell me? There is no interest there. Let me be very honest with you. This romance will favor France more than Nigeria.
Of course.
That's just the truth. Check out everything. The people who have been with them for ages are running away. That there is nothing benefiting from these people. But we are right now who's supposed to be building our own internally, building, harnessing ourselves.
All right, thank you.
And running to France.
All right.
To come and.
All right, thank you, Don Peter. Master, you wanted to say something?
Well, thank you for the compliment. But we are not infallible here.
And we are not even dictators, and we don't know it all.
This program is an idea bank. Anybody can come and deposit what they have.
And we look at it.
We appreciate comments from people like you and from the guy who called
him, Mr. Andose. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much.
And then knowledge is something that you keep getting. And I think what Andose was trying to say is that, look, there have always been French investments in Nigeria. And you can't dispute that. And what we should do, which was his concluding statement, is that, look, can we ensure that our interest is what we take into that alliance, whatever alliance we're coming with?
And that's where the challenge is. Because when it comes to negotiating, and then using the instruments for negotiations, we will come short. We will come short. I mean, France does not have mineral resources.
Of course, yes.
And what they are coming to take from you here, they're not going to give you appropriate pricing.
Okay, but whatever it is, let us protect our own interests.
And their banks will not come and open.
Their banks are not going to open branches here.
All right. 09136000410. Hello, good evening. Hello. Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, your name. Sorry. From Mr. Shala from Igbesa, Ogun State. Please, the line is a bit shaky. Iju. Okay, Iju. All right, please go on, sir. Mr. Ishola, we are struggling to hear you. Okay, the line, maybe you try and call us again. Hello, good evening.
Welcome,
All right. I think the line is active. I was trying to see
Hello,
again.
good evening.
Hello, good evening. Yes.
Good evening.
Yes.
Sahit.
Good evening,
I'm
sir.
Kadi from
Yes.
Abekuta.
Hi, Sağ this evening, sir.
Abekuta is cool and calm.
Please go on,
We
sir.
are fine. Thank you. Happy New Year in advance.
Thank you.
Barrister, good evening to you and Nurudin.
Good evening.
You see, the four topical issue you brought, I think I will do it within 1 or 2 minutes.
All right.
I leave. On traveling of President Tinubu, 43 countries so far, 43 tours traveling so far, 28 countries. And you see, these are the things we have been talking about. I will always say we lack leadership vacuum. We are suffering it rather. And we need leaders that are able to apply wisdom, which is the ability to make use of knowledge. They told us that before he came in that he has knowledge of Lagos. If he had the knowledge of Lagos, why can't he probably put it in place for us to be able to achieve in economy now than traveling with the little change that Nigeria is left with? Because we don't have money, and when he comes back, they will continue to go to the National Assembly to borrow more and more. And these are the things we have been talking about. Again, he vacillates so much that I think he needs to begin to come down to our level now. Because you can't tell me that because you are traveling, those people will just come home now, to Nigeria, and then begin their investment. This is almost 2 years running now. So what are we gaining from your traveling? Nothing than entertainment. You are entertaining the world that, yes, the most traveled president ever and the most pleasurable president in a new plane. These are the things I've seen. Then too, NPCL, NNPC. Yeah. You can imagine, I can compare Sirika. You remember Sirika with Tiari now? Adi Sirika, yes. They are playing upon our intelligence. I remember the controversies of airline, Ethiopian Airline, with this one now. Probably I read about having stopped that refinery over 3 years. And then you could be able to give opportunity for 6 trucks to load. What are we talking about? Have they started at all? Some of them will be telling us that we are pessimistic. So I don't think. Then on rich regions, I want to agree with Nurudin. Everything has talked about.
Thank you,
Mr.
because
of corruption.
All right, thank you. We'll take this call and then we'll try and deal with the message.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. This is Malam Salah.
Yeah, Malam Salah.
You see, the romance with this president with Macron,
yeah.
It's nothing that will destroy northern Nigeria. You understand?
You are a northerner, so you have your own concerns.
I'm a northerner. You see one thing, I don't want to bring this topic on radio. Why? Because the security issue.
Okay.
About 2-3 weeks ago, there are some Nigerians, high-profile Nigerians, they are raising alarms that they are getting information that Nigerian government will give farm a base in Nigeria.
A military base in Nigeria,
Now, what is the aim of that base? That is what I don't understand. Are we at war, or they want to use France from Nigeria to attack Niger or what? You get me?
I'm with you.
And let me tell you, this Lakarawas or whatever, all the terrorists in northern Nigeria. You know, I've told you that Niger, all the neighboring countries surrounded Nigeria in the northern Nigeria, they are all French-speaking countries, about 7. You understand? And as I'm talking to you, my fear is that as I'm talking to you now, if there is any security threat to Nigeria, there is no intelligent gathering as we speak today. You understand? So what I'm trying, what I don't understand with this president is that, you see, very soon you start seeing some certain high-profile terrorism in Nigeria. I'm just telling you, this Black Crowds. In fact, Ogafat, if you say I have a number, I will send you a video, an interview with one foreign media in Hausa language with one high-profile bandit that repented and reveal some secrets. How some foreign countries that are supporting them financially and otherwise. France is part of them.
Is there.
So that's what I don't understand. That times you see, France is happy that they have finally get a place that they can achieve what they want to achieve easily. That is Nigeria.
All right. Thank you, Malam Salah. Well, again, that's why we're bringing this up, and trying to really dissect these issues and raise some of these concerns. Yeah, we should get our minds to some of these things and understand that it's actually very big and bigger than what we see on TV or even listen to on radio. We have Prince Dan Praise on Facebook saying good evening and happy new last month of the year. To us. Thank you so much, Prince Dan Praise. John Okoji saying hello to us. Abdurafiu Alabalakpe from Sabo Ijewo Niba Ojo saying the resurrection of the resuscitation of the Port Harcourt refinery by this administration led by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is worth celebrating. And on behalf of all Nigerians, I say thank you, Mr. President. He said he has a lot of words to thank the president on that. But I want to beg the government, the Port Harcourt refinery should be given to private hands to manage, because maintenance culture is what Nigeria lacks. So we should privatize it. So Mr. Afra, travel down to Port Harcourt and go do what you guys call investigative journalism. If not so, I will never that the refinery has not started work. Our friend, who is also our colleague, has just told you that he will be going there. So whatever he gives to us, we'll work with it.
We can send Alaba there too. We can send him to go and investigate.
So he also saying that let everyone manage and control their resources. He believes regionalism can work for. Well, thank you so much, Alaba Lakpe. Andose had already called, and some of the things he said on radio, he typed there. So we'll just leave that. Basil Chika, the NNPCL and Nigerian refinery conundrum was not an accident, but born out of many lies and deceit from the government. And the president from Nigerians to the bottom could not hold anymore. And this is very big dent to the president if he's not a complicit to the shameful embarrassment. Now I'm patiently looking. That's Chika Bende from Trade Fair. We have Lukman Oladipupo. He's greeting us from Dakar, Senegal. The president just came back from Brazil at G20 summit, only to be invited by the French president. Instead of our president to tell Macron to come down to Nigeria, he quickly ran to France. Many are telling the French troops to in Senegal with immediate effect. France only wants to use Nigeria as a check on Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Guinea, Conakry. As for Port Harcourt refinery, not until it starts rolling out petrol, I won't and will never believe them. They have lied many times, and none can fault me for not trusting Nigerian government. Well, I'll keep sending prayers as usual. He's so happy with his Dakar, Senegal base, Mr. Curtis. This our friend from Dakar, Senegal. He keeps taunting us with the fact that he's in Senegal and Dakar. He's so happy to send prayers to us.
Well, if an ant is in a cup of water and he says he's inside Atlantic Ocean, you can't blame the ant.
But he tells us that he enjoys stable power, the infrastructure is better, and there's a lot of peace in Senegal. Yes.
Don't let us deceive ourselves.
Yes.
The essence of life is fulfillment.
So if it's fulfilled where he is.
If somebody is in Benin Republic and is doing his business without robbers coming, he use current, he use light.
Power. That's what he's telling us.
That so if he's doing fine in Senegal,
said in Senegal, the light does not go off. Business is going well for him.
Yes.
And he's
what
doing
he cannot
better.
do in Nigeria as a business is doing better there.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Just like I told someone that by now we shouldn't have any band again, no. Because even the band A, we don't have lights.
The band A don't collapse.
Band A has collapsed.
Father Rebumiosi Moral is saluting us and is saying, say we should help him wish our lovely daughter, Miss Emanuela, happy birthday to her. Okay, we say happy birthday to Emanuela, and he's sending that message from the 9th Brigade Military Barracks in Ikeja Cantonment. We have Williams Oluwatosin Feiseton. We say good evening to you all on the Port Harcourt refinery. I do not believe the NNPCL's claim of its refining product. Why it should be a big deal on not knowing the truth. So he doesn't actually believe that place is working. He also, because of over 30 years of non-government-owned refineries, has not produced a barrel. This abracadabra by NNPCL is nothing but a ruse to fool Nigerians. John Bernardo is saying, good evening, Mainland FM. On Port Harcourt refinery, there's no transparency in it. First, when Dangote refinery was receiving crude oil, it was known to the public, but while that of Port Harcourt refinery was not known, even a friend in Port Harcourt said they were surprised just like the rest of the country. Even the blending they're talking about is still subject to debate. They should have told us there are still tests running. At Dakar this summer, it seems quite unfortunate that the current reportage on the issue of the NBCL Limited is absolutely parochial and sentimental. With all due respect to the online chat with Adeola Yusuf some minutes ago, they didn't show up fair reportage expected to the generality of the wide listeners. That as it may, but there's still a need for the spot assessment before feeding the listeners with whatever is going on in the NNPCL Limited bid. For now, the whole thing with NNPCL Limited, Port Harcourt Refinery, has been given some assurance by professional and petrochemical engineer Society of Nigeria. Let's encourage them to give us deserved comfort. Well, to you, Mr. Tondaka Samuel, we told you that the Punch newspaper sent journalists there. We also have community people who have gone there. And they are saying that, look, we are not petrochemical engineers. But if you say a place is working, there should be activities. People should be loading products from there and so forth. So now that nobody is loading anything from that refinery, I think you shouldn't blame anybody for raising questions as to what was announced on Tuesday. And you also listen to us where Adeola has told you that, look, he's going to be catching the first flight tomorrow to that facility to also check for us what is going on in that place. So I don't know what you mean by biased reportage of what is happening in that facility. I doubt that maybe it's just a perception issue, really. Andose also sent in, but again, we've listened to you on radio, so let's quickly deal with the message. Patrick Obiazo is saying many people forget too soon that President of France was an intern at the French embassy during Tinubu's time as governor of Lagos State, and he has visited Lagos as president. He's at home with pidgin language. He therefore understands the typical Nigerian environment and our leaders' mindset. The man knows how to do any type of business with our president as a willing partner. This romance should not surprise the sunning Nigerians. Dami Gold is saying, good evening, mainland crew. It's obvious that this government is a complete joke and extremely full of headlines, fundamentally on deception. For how long will this cabinet continue to lie to Nigerians? I certainly believe that the tears of the poor, unfortunate ones, will drag. Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Davila from Alaba. Lukman Nuruddin, okay, we've read your message. Christopher Effiong is saying, hi, Milan FM, Political Roundtable, and three wise men in the studio. Well done. But Harcourt Refinery, I'm not surprised with the back and forth of NNPCL. That's what you get from a government like APC. It's a government that practices. Okay. Thank you so much. Darlington O. Ogbo is saying, good evening, the Jagabans of political analysis. If person way be 30 BG, they talk, say the economy is in shambles. Then Amigo come say the economy is thriving. I be make they play. We have entered one chance. Our president is hitting the skies running and is really doing well. I like you. Okay, so there's a joke there. Malale Konde is saying, I salute everyone in the studio. The country is getting more frustrating and disappointed when people lie because of selfish reasons. They come from Ota. And then Festus Ologun is saying, Afenifere, ACF, Ohaneze are misplacing priority. Now they should be asking for electoral reforms that the judiciary cannot cut to by the way of technicality. And then Chris Ewalem is saying, good evening for what? Please invite Engineer Saka Bala for a conversation about the Port Harcourt Refinery. Well done, guys. Well, we have to leave the studio. Mr. Curtis, your final take.
Ethnicity, selfish interest can make you act against your best interests. You would deny yourself. You know, Professor,
you even lie to yourself.
Yeah, Professor Cipolla, Berkeley University, California, called some certain people idiots and stupid. And he didn't mean it in the literal meaning.
Yeah.
What he said is that a stupid person is someone who acts, and we have a lot of such people, they don't mean to harm anybody.
They don't even know.
They don't even know. In Nigeria, make it.
Okay, in Nigeria, make it. Amen. Thank you so much, Curtis, for your wonderful submission on the show this evening. Nuruddin, your final take. 30 seconds. We need to leave the studio.
Mr. President, as you move to South Africa tomorrow, please don't forget, Nigerians are still hungry. There's still hunger in the land.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Nuruddin Adegbero. Well, this is where we'll call it today on the show, Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. Let's do this again next week.